Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, hump day. Too bad Fred's not on the call. He'd appreciate that one.
Yes,
Uh,
you would.
boy, am I
What
glad
did
you
I
guys
tell
are
you
here
guys?
today. I got a surprise for you. You already know what it is, but I get to do a little pomp and circumstance to get this going. Um, let's see what's going on today. It's a good thing. Well, we are literally 1 week and 1 day away from the summit. Get your tickets. Tony Fuentes, you got your ticket for the summit? You and your wife? You all set? Right on. That's what I'm talking about. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be fun today. I'm going to give you a little backstory, and we'll do the housekeeping right after that. So in 2002, I left the real estate or restaurant business, got into real estate business, found the best agent I could find, and I said, "Listen, just tell me what to do, and don't let me screw up." His name was Mike Krantz. He's a great guy, just phenomenal. Sold me my first house ever, and that's why I went to him because he's the best agent in East Orlando. And he told me exactly what to do. Well, during this time, Mike was heavily trained by Mike Ferry. And Mike Ferry was who I followed for quite a few years. The gentleman who is going to be speaking with us today I knew of his name in 2002. He was involved, I believe, with Mike, and he was a coach at that point, which was just mind blowing to me. Never spoke to him really kind of one-on-one. Had an opportunity to meet him through a mutual friend of ours. You all know Milton James, who is the best prospector I know of personally. And Milton said, "Hey, why don't you two talk?" So we talked for about 20 minutes, and it was like awesome. It's like talking to one of your, one of those bucket list people. And the cool part was at the end, he goes, "Well, why don't we circle back and we can talk a little bit later around 4?" And that shit hit my calendar right away. I'm like, "Oh, absolutely." So we talked for like another hour. Phenomenal. And I figured, what the heck? I'm going to be bold and adventuresome. And I'm going to see if I can get somebody who is on my bucket list to have a conversation with you guys. And you get to experience some of what I got to experience on that call, because it was unbelievably awesome. Here's somebody who's done 85,000 plus coaching calls. So probably doesn't have a lot of skills, doesn't really know what to do. I'm pretty sure he's just going to be winging it. And I don't think there's a whole lot of topics that are going to be of interest. I mean, that's 85,000 coaching calls. That's almost, well, what is it? No, it's 10,000 to mastery. Yeah. One of the top, if not the top coach in the Mike Ferry organization for quite a while, one of the top coaches in the world, now has is no longer affiliated with them. Great respect. I believe I'll let him finish that story, but it just, either way, he's out on his own, doing his own coaching company. And Steve, you sent me a text with an announcement yesterday that I can now call you something broker. Can I say that publicly? If I can, just nod your head.
Absolutely.
Right on. And I'm very pleased to announce that one of the most intelligent people I know of, somebody that I seek out and covet to listen to, told me yesterday in a text that he is now a licensed real estate broker associate with eXp Realty. Of all the places he could go, he made that choice, which should validate most of us, because we are great amount of us are with eXp. Anyway, that's just the backstory. And we're going to turn him loose in just a second. So Steve, give us a couple seconds. Let us do some housekeeping real quick. Folks, you know the drill. Put your faces on. I need to see you. Steve needs to see you. The energy we get from looking at you while we're talking is unbelievable. GPS Group. Growth, partnership, synergy. Agents helping agents reach their goals. That's the mission statement. You all know that. Oh, what the hell? We'll let the cat out of the bag too. If you like what you're going to hear, and you will like what you're going to hear, you're probably going to want to have one of these ready and handy. I know I do. I am absolutely ready to go, except I don't have my good pen. So I'm going to grab that as soon as I turn them loose. Summit's coming up in just a week. If you don't have your tickets, get them, folks. Life-changing. And here's something kind of neat. I got even crazier. I said, "Steve, what do you think? How would you like to, maybe talk at the summit, kind of do a coaching thing for us live?" And he goes, "You know what, George, I'll be glad to do that. I'm in." So this has just turned into a kick-ass week for sure. I am just super excited. Tiffany, you got some housekeeping for us?
I do. I've got some training to suggest later on at 1 p.m. Eastern. We've got Icon Series, Your Business by the Numbers. And this is in Icon Theater with Andy Coleman. For my state-specific classes, Ohio, you have contract compliance and closing paperwork explained. And also Arizona, you have a contracts training as well. That's all for
Outstanding.
today.
All right. So we're in 28 different states with all of us in the GPS group. And all of you, I know I say this on a regular basis. I'm going to say it one more time. Please remember, when having conversations, you're the tip of the iceberg. You are part of a group. You are never alone in this world in real estate. And particularly if you're a newer agent and emerging, remember that incredibly, that you're the tip of the iceberg, that your partners are standing with you. Okay. Our goal is to get you to your goals. And I have a goal. I've got 49 faces on here. I got 49 people that I can see in my Zoom. I like to see everybody at once. I want to get it to 49 live faces. So go out of your comfort zone, put your face on here, get engaged. And ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud to introduce Mr. Steve Powers.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Great to see you, sir.
So I said to George, I said, what do you want me to cover? And of course, he came back with the chicken shit. Well, whatever you want, it's fine. So what I try to do in September for the people I coach is I try to help them reestablish a sprint plan for the end of the year. This is not a time to say, my goal was here. I'm only going to do here. Screw it. Let me coast and then I'll do better next year. Everybody has the next year I'll do better syndrome. So what I'd like to talk about is how to have this last 3.5 months be your best 3.5 months you ever had in your entire life. But to do that, we have to look at a bigger picture. So would everybody write down this term that if you can, I know some of you are driving and some of you are walking. I envy you, Melanie, wherever you're walking, it looks beautiful in the background. So write this down, reverse engineer, reverse engineer. And we all do this to some capacity. We start with a goal and then we write what we want, but then we don't really reverse engineer how to get it. So I've been fortunate to coach some of the best people in North America, and we do the same thing all the time. We have a 5-year goal. So everybody, if you can, write down 5-year goal. Now, this is personal. This is your goal. You can share with your spouse, your broker, your significant other, your partner, anyone you want to share it with, but be prepared that most people, when they see your 5-year goal, will tell you that's too big, that's too much. Anybody besides me ever heard the term, it's lonely at the top? It's because the people at the top don't care what the other people think about their 5-year plan. I have a coaching company. My son and I know a prospecting company. We're trying to hire 100 people to prospect in Fort Lauderdale. I have a property management app coming out and 2 other businesses, plus an EXP brokerage. This is not hard to do if you plan. So your 5-year plan starts out with something simple. Where do you like to live? Where's your house in 5 years? Is it the one you're in now? Is it upgraded? Did you buy a new house somewhere else? What does it look like? And think big, guys. It doesn't have to be a big house. I live on a 2,200 square foot house, but on almost 2 acres with 500 feet of water frontage. House tiny, land big. Whatever your dream is, it's okay. 5-year plan. Will you have a vacation home? And where is it? And let me give you a hint about a vacation home. If I was to work with you, within 5 years, you'd have 2 of them because a vacation home is free. It pays for itself. If you align it right, if you set it up right, in 5 years, you can have 2 vacation homes that you can use. And there's laws, you can only use them 14 days a year, blah, blah, blah. However, the rent on them pays them off in between 7 and 11 years. So in 5 years, put down, where's my vacation home? What kind of passive income do you want in 5 years? Had a wonderful coaching call with the gentleman yesterday, and I said to him, so how much passive income do you have now? And he said, well, with your help, we're up to 135,000. Where do you see it in 2 years? 250. And I said, so where do you want this 250 to come from? And here's a great answer. I don't care. See, investors buy stock based on return. Realtors buy houses based on emotion. See, if you want to have a great 5-year plan, you're investing the money that you made working hard into a positional equity status. So is it a storage unit? Is it a multifamily? Is it commercial? It doesn't matter. What you have to decide is where's the best place I put my money for the best return. Now, I would advise you, your first vacation home, buy someplace you like, but also it has to rent out. Here's a big one. Everybody write this down. What are the 10 vacations I will take over the next 5 years? Remember, guys, 5 years is December 31st, 2026. That's 5 years plus this couple months. You should take 2 solid vacations a year. Anybody besides me have kids? Kids don't care about the money. Oh, they like the things money buys, but what they want is time. So buy great vacations. A staycation is for poor people, okay? A vacation where you're on Groupon, where you're on a tour bus is for poor people. We're in a position to make a lot of money, guys. And it doesn't mean you have to just spend it like crazy. We're not Puff Daddy, okay? But we need to have a decent vacation where we can spend time with our kids. So what does a great vacation cost? Well, that's up to you. For some of us, it's $5,000. For some of us, it's $25,000, depending on where you want to go. But remember, if you're 50, the average male makes it to 78. You've only got 6 5-year plans left. You better have some great vacations. Unless you're Shirley MacLaine, there's no repeat on this. This is it. So plan 5, 10 great vacations, 2 per year. Now, if you don't have kids, by a show of hands, because I have a lot of people on the screen, who doesn't have kids that are home? Plan your vacations during the downtime of your market. I sold about 4,000 houses in Virginia. 65% of our sales were between March 1st and July 15th. 65%, because that's when the market was. So there was no vacation between March 15th and July 15th, July 31st. The rest of the year didn't matter. So if you don't have kids, plan your vacations when the market is slow for you, so that way you're not leaving a lot of food on the table. Now, in 5 years, how big will your downline be? For those of you to aspire, and that's one of the reasons you join EXP, how big's your downline in 5 years? And then, of course, what's the income from your downline? Plan this out. How many deals will you do a year? What will be your average commission? What will be your gross commission? Now, let's separate ourselves from the other people in real estate. There's gross commission and there's real money. My partner, Gordon from Watson Powers Coaching, his team is going to do 66 deals in the month of September. Now, 66 deals is a lot, but they're at 50-50 split. So Gordon gets half, they get half. Gross commission high, net commission half. So make sure that when you plan your 5-year goal, here's my gross commission, here's what my team looks like if that's the way you're going, and what is my actual net? Because the net is the most important thing. Everybody has gross. I always know when I'm talking to a realtor that's on many committees of the board of realtors, because all they want to tell me is how many millions of real estate they sold. I did $3 million worth of volume last year. At 1%, that means you made $30,000. See, you're in this for the money. We work in real estate to make money to buy a great life. I'll say it again. We work in real estate to make money to buy a great life. So make sure in your 5-year plan, how many deals, what will be the average commission, what's the gross, what's your net, what will your team look like? Once we have that in place for December 31st, 2026, we just reverse engineer it back. So if your goal is to do 100 deals, and Joe DeMesa, could I ask you to click on for a second? Joe, with the backward hat.
Joe is actually one of our administrators from the Philippines.
Well, then that's not going to help. Hey, Joe, what part of the Philippines do you live in?
Mindanao, Davao City.
Nice. I love the Philippines. I used to go to Olongapo and all the time. God, just if anyone has never been to the Philippines, you have to go there. It is the most beautiful country in the world. And the people are the best. They are the best people in the world. I've never met a person in the Philippines that wasn't nice and made you feel better for meeting them. So, Joe, sorry for calling on you, but I'm glad I did. Let's go to Deborah with the nice mountains in the background. Deborah, what is your average commission?
I'm a newbie. My average commission here recently has been around 1,000
$1,000?
after all my stuff comes out. Yeah.
Sure. And so what we need to do is, if I was working with the coaches, we would figure where in 5 years do you want to earn? And then we back it down to see what you have to do. So Deborah, I'm going to pretend that your average commission is 10,000 because it's an easy number to play with. Okay. So if you wanted to earn $1 million, Deborah, and your average commission is 10,000, how many deals do you have to do a year?
1,000.
100. It used to be 1,000. Now it's 100. Okay. That's how you correct somebody for being wrong without correcting them. It used to be, now it's this. So Deborah, 100 deals a year is how many per week? Look at my hand. So if you and I were working together, all we have to do is work on a 5-year plan to get you 2 deals a week. And Deborah, and only Deborah, can I show you how simple this is? It's a lot of work, but it's simple. Deborah, through your prospecting, I assume you prospect, yes?
Yes.
Do you meet people on a daily basis?
Yes.
Could you add 1 person per day to your sphere?
Yes.
And if you add 1 person per day, how many is that per week?
5.
5. And 5 per week times 50 weeks a year is 250. Now, those 250 people will give you 25 deals next year and 25 deals the year after. So adding 250, 1 per day, guys, gets you an additional 25 deals next year. And then in 2023, it's 50. See, guys, if you want a nice way to do an extra 25 deals, add 1 person a day to your sphere. Now, 1 out of 10 will give you a deal. 9 won't. I'll say this again. 1 out of 10 will give you a deal. 9 won't. Don't assume that you're Nostradamus and you can see into the future and determine who will give you a deal. If you own a house, if you're connected to the community, if you talk to me, if you have some sort of real estate need, if you're a member of the HOA committee, if you're a member of the PTA, if you coach little league teams, if you're connected, I'm going to make you love me. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to call you. I'm going to email you. If you're using your CRM, I'm going to follow up on you. And what I do know is that adding 1 person per day gives me an additional 25 deals next year. And if we do this for the next 5 years, it's $1 million. This is not difficult. It's just a lot of work. For instance, let's go to Steph. Hi, Steph on the iPhone. Steph, do you play golf or attempt to?
Good morning. I suck at golf.
Yeah, but so what? I suck at golf. I get my money's worth. I play with a guy who shoots 72. I shoot closer to 90. I get more golf for the same money. Well, I'm smarter. So, Steph, you suck at golf. Do you ever play in charity golf tournaments?
No.
If you did, you could meet 10 or 12 people that make money because you don't play in the cheap Pabst Blue Ribbon golf tournaments. You play in breast cancer awareness golf tournaments. You play in community event golf tournaments. And then you work the putting green, you work the driving range, you work the people you play golf. And at the end, you would come out with 10 or 12 people who like you because you're supporting a great charity.
Yeah.
And if you and I were to coach together, that's 12 people. That's 1 deal that you'll get from them next year for playing golf.
That's true. It's a good idea. I might put myself in that situation, or even bowling, because I suck at bowling too.
Well, yeah, and Stephanie's hitting it perfectly. Whatever you suck at brings you money. So there you go. So whether you play golf or you bowl or you're in a cycling club or you're in a boating club, this is an opportunity for us to add people to our sphere. I need to add 1 a day to add 25 a year. Now, they have a shelf life. They're only good for about 2 years. So I'll pull 50 deals out of that 25. Then I add another 250 next year and I'll pull 50 deals out of that. It just never ends. So you take your 5-year goal, whatever it is, and make it big. 5 years is a tremendous amount of time. Let's go back to Stephanie. Stephanie, do you have kids? I lost Stephanie.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
You
My
have-
phone case is giving me issues. But yes, I have 2 kids. Do you want them?
No, thank you. I have 2 of my own, and I don't think anyone would want to trade because I would get the better deal. So, Stephanie, how old are your kids?
I have one that's 13 and one that's 8.
I want you to think about your 13-year-old. When he or she is 17, 18, they go to college. In the next 5 years after they left for college, they graduated, they got a job, they're married, they have kids, they're divorced, they're a lawyer, they're a doctor. See, 5 years, guys, is a tremendous amount of time if you apply pressure correctly on a daily basis. I'll say this again. 5 years is a tremendous amount of time if you apply pressure correctly on a daily basis. But if you're only working every other day, if you're only putting half effort, it's going to take you 10 years. So you take your 5-year goal, then you say, what do I need to do in 4 years? If my goal is to be at 100 deals in 5 years, I'm using that number because it's metrically simple. How many deals do I have to be at 4? How many deals do I have to be at 3? How many deals do I have to be at 2? How many deals do I have to be at 1? If your goal is to have 500 people in your downline in 2026, well, how many do I need in 24, 25, 24, 23, 22? See, guys, reverse engineer it. It makes it clearer.
Question.
Please.
How do I do an additional 40 deals by the end of the year?
Well, we're going to get back to that because we're going to talk about sprinting in the last 3.5 months. See, right now we're working on our 5-year plan because if we don't know where we're going, well, they're like my dad. My dad drove a 1965 Plymouth Fury wagon with no air conditioning, 3 boys, backseat vinyl, stuck to it all the time. My dad would not ask for directions and he wouldn't buy a map. We were constantly lost, but according to him, we were making good time. See, so many of us are constantly lost, but we're making good time. I asked an agent, tell me, what did you do today? And it's just this meander of crap. Well, I got up, I worked, I read a little bit. Then I got on, I did some CE credits. I checked the internet. I cleared my email out. Then I had an appraiser call me and my broker and I talked about 20 minutes. Then it was time for lunch. I went to lunch with a couple of realtor friends. We discussed the market. This afternoon, I'm like, where is income in here? Where is a cause and effect? If your goal is to do 100 deals in 2026, where's the pressure today on the things needed to get there? And so many of us, George, on a daily basis, I call it square peg, round hole. They try to say today's activity is valuable. And they try to stick a square peg to a round hole. Well, Steve, you don't understand. I had this appraiser call me who's trying to work on an appraisal. And if I don't call the appraiser, someday when I sell a house, he or she might be doing appraisal. And then it may affect me in the future because I didn't take their call today. And so you help the appraiser make their goal for the day, but you didn't get anything of yours done. Wow, that's a plan. Everyone look real closely in the camera. Be selfish with your time. Stephanie, you left your kids to go to work to make money. Nowhere do your kids want you to help 100 other people make money and you don't make any.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Now, you don't have to be a butthead. You can give back. But I deal with all those things that people want from me after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. See, in the morning, it's the time for us to make our plan. In the morning, it's time to be selfish, to get on the phone, to go door knocking, to go find people to add to our sphere or to make an appointment. In the afternoon, when I'm free, then I can deal with all the other people's issues. I got enough problems on my own planet in the morning. I haven't got time to start a space agency and fly over to theirs. I got to take care of me. So you got your 5-year plan, 4-year plan, your 3-year plan, your 2-year plan, then next year's plan. And they all have to be in alignment. Because if next year's plan is not in alignment to where you want to be in 5 years, well, it becomes like so many 1-year plans that you wrote and it looked good. And then you put it in your desk, and what happened to it? The next fall, better dust this thing off. See, 22. Oh, yeah. Let me make a change. Oh, yeah. I'll do better this year. There's always this year. See, we have to work daily on achieving our monthly goals, our quarterly goals, our yearly goals, and our 5-year goals. And the key to this, guys, is to have a 5-year goal. And it's going to be wrong. And you're going to pick a vacation home that you wanted X place, and you're going to buy one in Y. Or in 3 years, you're going to find a significant partner and fall in love and decide that's not important. It doesn't matter. It gives you direction. I have a friend of mine. They have this beautiful RV live next door to us. They do dots on the map. They travel for 3 months. They pick a dot and they say, let's go there. But they're in no hurry to get there, but that's where they want to go. And when they get there, they enjoy it. They pick another dot on the map. And sometimes they love the dot and sometimes they don't. But your 5-year plan, if you want a car, let's do Matthew with the space shuttle behind him. God, that's a great picture. You know, my wife, who's a lot older than me, says, Matt, that once she dies, she wants to be shot up into space with her ashes. I'm just going to get her one of those little Estes rockets and launch it and run. And that's about as far as I can send her. So, Matt, in 5 years, what kind of car will you drive?
Not so much a car, but I like a 52-foot fishing yacht.
Nice. What model?
Yeah. Probably Viking, because Ocean's not in my stock anymore, so Viking.
Now, would it be new or used?
Well, I only been licensed for less than a year, so new would be nice.
So the answer is used.
Oh,
And the reason is because a new Viking is about 1.8, a used one is 1.3. It's the same boat. Viking boats will last 250 years.
correct.
Now, would you get an inboard or the quad outboard?
Outboard.
And those motors are 35, 40,000 a piece. So you buy 4 brand new ones. So you're at $1.3 million plus brand new motors, brand new electronics. You're at $1.4 million. You got 400,000. You could go buy a vacation home.
Mm-hmm. And it can go anywhere in the
You can
ocean.
go anywhere. I have a
Uh-huh.
friend of mine who's a bacon there, has a 143-foot boat, and he tows a 72-foot Viking to fish.
That's too much for me. I'm not a
No,
greedy
it's
person.
not. I thought it'd be too much for me too, but a half an hour into it, I'm like, yeah, this isn't bad.
I'll say if they want to invite me, I'll go for a day or two. But to own one, I'll spend it somewhere else. Maybe on a family.
So Matthew, and only Matthew, my email address is steve@watsonpowers.com. I want you to write December 31st, 2022, Viking 53. I want you to get a picture of it. I want you to find out how much it cost, how much you could rent it for, because here's the thing. Vikings are built like tanks. You don't let them sit at the dock. Tiger Woods owns a personal 737. It's rented when he's not flying it. Tiger Woods owns a $28 million house in Maui. It's rented every single night that he's not there for $30,000 a night. So Matthew, you don't buy $1.5 million fishing boat, let it sit there. You let it charter out. So the boat actually turns out to be free.
The more you use it, the more you're actually putting the value to it.
So what I want you to do is I want you to write for me a one-page plan, the boat, the cost, what you could charter for, what the annual costs are. The advantage of an outboard versus inboard, you don't have to lift the boat every winter, but you do every other winter to scrape off the barnacles, etc. But I want you to really investigate it, Matthew. I want you to live this dream, because the dream will become a reality the more you make this real. And you're going to find that the boat is not out of reach. It's actually probably within reach in less than 5 years.
It's Steve@watsonpowers.com.
Yep.
Steve@watsonpowers.com. 5 years, Viking 53-foot Viking yacht.
Yeah, baby. Look at this smile, guys. You see, this is why I love to coach. He's got this big smile on his face because him and I are going to work together, and I'm going to show him how we can get the boat. Now, Matt, where do you live?
I live in Windermere, Florida, the poor area, but I'm currently in Hamilton, New Jersey, just outside of Atlantic City.
Where do you want to live?
Well, I'm born and raised outside of Atlantic City, so more hunting fishing areas I know up here than I know in Windermere. Can't
That's
really
fine.
hunt deer outside of Disney World.
No, you can hunt them with your car here in North Carolina because we hit 1 or 2 every single year. It's amazing. People get all dressed up. All you gotta do is drive to the store and you can get a deer. So Matt, what you'll have to do is you'll also have to put your plan that the boat will be transferred down to Florida in the winter because the charters are much more expensive in the winter. So you could bring it down to Florida, still use it and make more money. You see where I'm going with this, guys? The better the detail you have, the more realistic it becomes.
And you don't have to pay property tax if you live on it. I mean, you have to pay dock fees, but probably equals out somewhere.
Work that all out. See, by having a good plan, we can then apply pressure daily to pay for the boat. And Matt, I guarantee where you're in New Jersey, if you add one person a day to your sphere, that one person a day over the next 5 years will pay for your boat. It's as simple as that.
Good talk, Steve.
Nice. Everyone else is like, I don't want to buy a boat. What the heck are they talking about? So let's talk about from September 15th to December 31st, because now we have our 5-year plan. And if you guys want to send me your 5-year plan, I'd be happy to look at it. I do all the time. Steve@watsonpowers.com. We have our 5-year plan. Now we don't want to wait until December 31st to get in shape. The old, it's November and January, I'll lose weight. Let's start losing weight now. So the first thing you have to do is take out a calendar. I know. We have to take out a calendar and you have to figure which days from September 15th, and I'm using that date arbitrarily, to December 31st that you're going to work and why. Because they're not all the same. For most of us, we don't have a lot of expireds. If we did, we want to call on the 1st and the 31st because that is the higher expired day for the month. So we want to make sure we're working on the 31st and the 1st. For those of us that are in America, and I don't know how many, George, are in Canada, but we celebrate our Thanksgiving in November. And because we celebrate our Thanksgiving in November, that week for the East Coast is a dead week. And Matthew knows this. When you were a kid, I grew up on the East Coast. Thanksgiving is an all-week event. If you're in California, and I have lots of great friends and clients in California, Thanksgiving is Thursday at 1 o'clock. So if you're on the East Coast, you can take the whole week off because nobody's doing anything Thanksgiving week. If you're on the West Coast, you need to work because nobody gives a snot about Thanksgiving. They don't really celebrate it. It's a holiday, but people just continue doing their work. So you have to calendarize September 15th through December 31st. When are we working and why? Now let's go back to Stephanie. Where is she? Stephanie? Hi.
Hello.
Your kids are in school, I imagine, yes?
Yes, they're in school.
You, and no one else pay attention to this, need to look at the school calendar. See, when there's a teacher workday and there's no school, everybody's home. And one of those parents had to take the day off from work to be home with the kids. So I call around elementary schools and middle schools. I don't call around high schools because the high schools, the kids are home by themselves.
True.
But if there's subdivisions that have an elementary school, I'm prospecting the crap out of that. If I have past clients, they're home. It's a big day to prospect, which is kind of odd because Stephanie, being the real estate agent, probably has to stay home that day because her kids are home from school. But it's a great day to make money.
Oh,
I'm sorry?
I train my kids to know that when mommy's working, you shut your
Okay, so we are going to trade kids because mine aren't trained that well, okay? So what we need to do is look at the school calendars for your location and work on the days there are teacher work days, teacher half days. Everybody's home. We need to work them. Excluding my Mormon friends, which I coach a bunch of great Mormons, Sunday nights are the best night to prospect. Let's go to Monty in the car. What kind of car are you driving, Monty? That looks pretty. Monty Bellado. Hello, Monty. Evidently not.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Monty. What kind of car are you driving?
I'm driving a Chevy Cruze.
Nice. So let me ask you a question, Monty. What are most people doing on Sunday evenings?
Relax and get ready for work on Monday.
And guess who's home? Everybody, right?
Everybody, yeah.
So in the fall, I do a lot of prospecting on Sunday night. I have a prospecting company and we have prospectors, we pay extra and they prospect Sunday night. Our hit ratio is 50% better. We get 50% more pickups on Sunday evening because Monday's work, Monday is school. During the fall, there's not a lot of vacation, so people are home. Now, Monty, do you prospect by owners?
I'm sorry,
Do you prospect by owners?
by owners. No, I have
You-
not yet.
It's okay. Well, here's a hint. They hold them open on generally on Sundays. And Sunday night, if you were to call them, they're sitting there with 4 loaves of honey wheat bread that they were told to bake that nobody ate. And they have a dirty St. Joseph statue that they took out of the ground because they were told if you're a buy owner and you put a St. Joseph statue upside down in your front yard, your house is sold. And you call on Sunday night, they're a bit despondent, aren't they, Monty?
For sure.
And none of your competitors are calling because there's going to get 100 calls on Monday. But Monty is smart enough to call on Sunday night. So what I would do is I'd prospect Sunday nights. And I'd prospect on Saturday mornings, the 2 best times of the week to prospect. See, a lot of people say to me, well, Steve, I want to prospect Monday through Friday, 8 to 10. Go ahead. If you can make your goal prospecting 8 to 10, Monday through Friday, God bless you, go do it. But if you're a little behind your goal, or you want to shop for better Christmas presents than at the Dollar General store, you might want to have to step up your game. And Saturday mornings, people pick up the phone a lot more. Sunday night, they pick up the phone a lot more. You're talking to people who no one else is talking to. So in the fall, calendarize when you want to work and why. Number 2, you need to call all your past clients and sphere 2 times. I would call them over the next 30 days, and I would call them again in November. And the script I use in November is, hi, blank, it's your realtor, Steve. Calling to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving. Curious, are you guys traveling or staying local? Whatever they say is okay with me. We're staying local. That's phenomenal. Small Thanksgiving or big family? Big family. Oh my gosh, who's coming? And we talk, blah, blah, blah. Then I close with, so who in your family are you going to see over Thanksgiving that wants to buy or sell a house this year or next? See, we got to plant those seeds. Because those past clients and sphere are going to meet more people over Thanksgiving and Christmas than they do the rest of the year. We need to put your name in their head. So during the 4th quarter, I think Milton asked, how do I do 40 extra deals? Well, you do 40 extra deals by prospecting Sunday night and Saturday morning and 2 nights a week. And you call your past clients 2 times. And you work when you're supposed to be working, not being at work. And there's a big difference. Let's go to Jeff. What does your hat say, Jeff? Outfitted 1960. What does it say? You're on mute, Jeff. There we go. We'll find it. There we go. Okay, Jeff. We're going to move on, Jeff. It's you're having some technical difficulties. No worries. Okay. So guys, you've got to make a plan for who you're going to call and why. What I would try to do in September, October, November, December, I try to add at least another 100 people to my sphere. So anybody on this call ever door knock? Anybody?
I do.
Who's I do?
Sasha.
Sasha, nice. And Sasha, it doesn't matter to me because I am married. Are you married, single partner?
Single.
Nice. And if you were married, what's that joint where above the ring? What's that joint called?
My knuckle.
That's it. And you have a magic knuckle. Can I tell you why?
Why?
Because when you walk up to someone's door and you do this with your knuckles, they magically appear.
They do.
And here's the
I love
thing.
door knocking.
We're talking to someone who's in a house. They're a renter, they could be a buyer, they get an owner, they could be a seller. So Sasha, where do you live?
I live in Point Siena, Florida.
Nice. And how often does the average person move in Point Siena, Florida?
I do not know, but a lot of people are here.
Yes, they are,
Every
but the
day.
average person moves how often?
Oh, here I believe it's every 5 years. We have a lot of renters here.
I love that. So Sasha, every fifth person you talk to with your magic knuckles won't be in that house next year. See,
Absolutely.
I'm not just door knocking. I'm trying to find the 1 in 5 that is going to move in the next year, and I'm going to become their best friend. And Sasha, with that big, beautiful smile you have and the professionals you bring, you have legs. And what I mean by legs is after you leave, they remember you. When we call somebody, it's a very short term. Who is that? Some realtor.
Mhm.
But when you're at the front door with that big smile and a professional script, and you take their information, you now work them. You realize every fifth house you go to, one of them is selling. That's a lot of people, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, as you can tell, I don't have a smile like Sasha. If I had a smile like Sasha, I'd be door knocking all day.
Thank you.
Because I go out on Saturday and I talk to 40 people. And out of 40 people, eight will be moving in the next year. And with a nice script, you can find out probably half of who them are. Not everybody knows they're moving. But when you say to them, how long have you been here? Oh, I've been here 7 years. Well, you're already past the date. Why did you decide to buy in this beautiful community? We came here for the schools for our kids. Oh my gosh, how old are your kids? Well, they're 16 and 18. They're gone. I'm looking at a 6-bedroom house with 2 kids that will be gone. Mama and dad, I want to downsize. I'm about to become their best friend. See, the fall is a great time to go door knocking. It's cooler.
Yes.
Now we have a time change in October. So you need to go out now. And then you need to go out Saturdays and Sundays because there's business everywhere. So the sprint to the end of the year, plan what you want to do for a number of deals, number of listings, how many people you want to add to your sphere. Calendarize between September 15th with your family. Here's the days I'm working. Here are the days I'm not. Pick the days that you don't work on days that it's harder to earn money. For instance, I'm a veteran. That means on November 11th, it's Veterans Day. In support of veterans, I prospect the whole day because it's a holiday and everyone's home. As a veteran, I want to make sure I help anybody out there buy and sell real estate. It's a great day to prospect because it's a single holiday in the middle of Tuesday, I believe, and everybody's home. But they're not going on vacation because Thanksgiving's coming in a couple of weeks. So they stay home all day. And by 8:30, 9 o'clock, they'll talk to anybody but their kids. So Veterans Day is a big day for me to prospect. There's an old joke, Georgia. You've probably heard this. Why do all realtors love Halloween?
Why?
Well, it's the one day a year they can prospect for food. Okay. See, Halloween, I don't prospect in the afternoon because parents are getting ready. I don't go door knocking, Sasha. I'm like dominoes. I'm not driving through a neighborhood. If I have a listing appointment, it's going to be before 3 o'clock. I'm not going on a listing appointment at 5 o'clock. You want to upset somebody, drive through a neighborhood quickly to get to your listing appointment at 5 o'clock. Not a good play. So plan your calendar based on realistic days to make money. If you celebrate Christmas, when's your Christmas vacation and why? If you're going to be gone, make sure you're gone when you're gone. Don't start your vacation a week early to go on vacation and then you come back from your vacation for another week you don't work. My kids, when they were younger, we had a simple rule. Daddy is working until we get in the tube to get on the plane. If we're flying out Saturday morning, I'm calling the expireds from the airport, getting on the plane at 9:30. The second we got into the tube, welcome to your airline. My phone went off and they didn't turn it back on until I got off vacation. My kids knew I was on vacation. But I worked that Saturday morning during the fall because it's so easy to make appointments. So have a 5-year plan, make it big. Be like Matt, get yourself a Viking. What a great boat, okay? Be like everyone, give yourself big plans. Break it down to individual years, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Decide what skills you need to have, what sphere you need to have, what you need to do differently over the next 5 years to get there, and then do it. And for the next 3.5 months, make a short plan, calendarize your days so you're working when it's easy to make money, and take time off when it's not. Relatively simple, isn't it, guys? It's just a lot of work. So I'm here if you have any questions. Anybody have any questions?
I got a couple observations. Something that for everybody, I wanted you guys, if you didn't notice this, during all of this, Steve is standing up. And that's because his energy is higher. And if you're prospecting or if you're doing anything in a sitting position, your energy tends to be down. I wanted to, while we've got him here, Milton, you're on the call, I think. Are you able to come back? He's probably, I know his phone is going with, he's got 3 triple dialers or 2 triple dialers dialing at any given time. Awesome. Milton, wanted to ask you a question, and then we're going to turn it over to everybody else. I want to get this out of the way. Unmute yourself on this one, brother, if you would. Most of y'all know my friend Milton. Milton is probably the best phone person I know. Milton has been classically trained and coached in his career. Milton, is there anybody on the call named Steve Powers that currently coaches you and has for quite a while?
Absolutely. A few years now.
Right on. And what are you planning on? What do you think your numbers are going to be this year? What is your goal for units closed this year?
Somewhere between 90 and 100, trying to get to that 100 mark.
Right on. Folks, I want to pass on to you just one observation. I know Milton very well. We've been, great friends for around 8 or 9 years and helped each other through all of it. And I can tell you with all honesty, he's not very smart. Okay. I mean that sincerely. What he does very well, though, is listen to a coach.
They're laughing at
do what he's supposed to do. I'm kidding, brother. Steve, you've coached him for a while.
Mm-hmm.
What was the catalyst how did Milton get to where he's at? Was it just luck, or did he follow a schedule, a plan with goals?
Well, there's very little luck involved. I call it the orgasmic yes. Every now and then we're going to call a just listed, just sold, and you're going to say, hi, this is Steve Powers of Watson Powers Real Estate. And they go, oh my God, how did you know? Honey, it's a realtor. Oh my God, we were thinking about selling. That's going to happen once a month if you prospect. You're going to get the orgasmic yes. And if you're trying to make a career on luck, you're dreaming. Milton got to where he is and where he's going to go by understanding it's work. It's applied work to the right pressure points to have income. It's not just work. It's applied work to the right pressure points. Milton and I talk all the time. I always say our job is to set a qualified listing appointment every day. We set 1 a day, that's 5 a week. 5 a week, you go on 3, you'll take 2, that's 100 deals a year. Your only job is to set a qualified appointment every day. Everything else is BS. And where Milton really shines is he gets it. He understands that he has to apply the pressure to his job. And that's why he uses multiple dialers, because he's trying to talk to as many people a day to find that 1, 2, or 3 people that want to list a home. Someone like Milton next year should be listing 20 homes a month because his database is growing. And as long as he keeps massaging that ball, there's no reason Milton can't do 220, 250 listings a year. And that's big dollars. The other thing that Milton does really well is he asks a lot of questions. He comes to the call with questions. You can't believe how many times he goes, okay, we got 2 minutes left. I got 6 more questions. I'm like, okay.
True story.
And I love that. I love that attitude. Okay. Milton's paying a lot of money to be coached. He expects to be coached. If you and I work together, you expect me to bring it, and I expect you to bring it. So what makes Milton ununique but unique is that he gets it, that his job is to go set qualified appointments and then work on everything else.
Yeah.
Folks, for anybody that's enjoyed this conversation, Mr. Powers, Coach Steve Powers, has graciously volunteered and is going to be speaking at the summit next week. I encourage you to get around him, as well as everybody else that we have on this itinerary, and book your ticket. It is your success we're talking about and we're focused on. I promise you that is the mission statement behind all of it. Steve, if you don't mind for just a couple minutes, can we open it up for any questions, any
Absolutely.
insights anybody had? Floor is yours, guys. This is a $2,500 an hour coach who is literally at your disposal. Please take advantage of this time.
Hey, Steve, it's Daryl.
Hi, Daryl.
Real quick, how do we? What's a quick way to check to make sure our 5-year plans are aligned as opposed to rewriting the 1-year plan 5 times each year?
Your 5-year plan has to be much bigger than your 1-year plan, Daryl. That's a great question. You know, when your kid leaves house in 5 years, what do they want to do for a job? Because in America, you have to work. Unless you're a millennial or a Generation Z, you don't have to. But everybody else has to work. And so in 5 years, I want to be an attorney. So Daryl, if you're 18-year-old, and I'm just using that as an example, that says, I want to be an attorney, then the 1-year plans have to be in alignment to get into law school. They can't be taking history and ceramic arts and biochemistry. They've got to take classes where the law schools say, these are the classes that we want you to take. Here's the grades we need for you to be accepted into our law school. And that's that dot on the map, Daryl. So the 5-year plan has to be very big and very exciting. And don't let anybody talk you down, okay? Don't let anybody talk you down. And it's funny too, because I told my wife many, many years ago, I have a goal to earn 100,000 a year. She about choked because all the realtors she knew earned 5,000, 10,000. They did insurance and other jobs. And she said, you'll never make 100,000 a year. And now if my wife doesn't see 100,000 a month coming in, she's like, what's your problem? So Daryl, there's a big difference. Your 1-year plans have to be in alignment to get you to your 5-year plan. Great question.
Wow.
Question, Steve. How would a buyer's agent perfect day look like in their schedule?
Milton, give me a call afterwards because that probably won't apply to most of these people on this call. So with the limited time, if it's okay, just give me a call later. We'll talk about that because a buyer agent's job is to set appointments for buyers and show property and promote. But there's a different schedule.
Got it.
But they do have to set an appointment every day.
Hey, Steve.
Hello.
It's Imran from South Africa here.
Nice.
So I thought I'd ask it. Yeah, man. What's the one piece of advice that you could give to a newbie real estate agent?
The mornings and I call it till 1, you have to be selfish with and use that time to go find people and find business. And it's a lot of work. And when you're brand new, it's a lot of work. But it's like exercising. If you've never exercised, to do 25 push-ups is a lot of work. Later, when you're in great shape, 25 is just a warm-up. So I would spend the morning from 8 to noon, 8 to 1, trying to talk to people about real estate. In the afternoon,
Absolutely.
I would go preview houses. I would go see 6, 8 homes a day in the afternoon. Because, Emran, if you go to 8 homes 3 times a day, that's 32 homes. You do that 4 weeks a month, that's 120 homes. You do that in 6 months, that's 720 homes. You go look at 720 homes inside, you know your market, and your friends and family who thought you just got into real estate as a gimmick now see that you really know what you're doing. So in the morning up to 1, spend all your time trying to find someone to talk to make appointments. In the afternoon, do all the crap work that every single realtor has to do. And you got to be selfish in the morning because everybody wants to talk to you in the morning because they're trying to fill their morning. So by calling you, The loan officers are calling you in the morning. Hi, I'm a loan officer. I want to meet with you. And they want to talk to you. Why? Because they're talking to you because you're their customer. But you don't make any money from a loan officer. So guard your morning. Be selfish. Yeah.
Got it.
So
Thank you.
write this down. When done correctly, real estate isn't a loan business. It's not lonely, but it's a loan. We're all on this wonderful call. We're having a great time. There's 90 people on this, give or take, and it's exciting. And we're together, so we're not lonely. But the second this call is over, you need to go out and door knock. You need to go out and get on the phone. And you do that by yourself. You don't group call with people. Oh, you can do it periodically. But if you're going to make some serious coin, you got to realize the real money is when you're by yourself doing your job. Because if you need a group to do your job, you're never going to make it.
I have a question.
Please.
So hi, my name is Minnie Singh. I'm out of Orlando.
Hi, Minnie in Orlando.
Hi, Steve. So I was wondering, I'm listening and I'm starting to take notes. I was just wondering if the ball game is still the same with the changing times for you or in general, as in prospecting, talking to people, doing one a day. Has anything changed? Like, do you consider the trends, COVID and all of that, like, or let's just do the same thing as before?
Well, here's the thing. COVID made it easier to sell real estate. There's just less people doing it. See,
okay.
I'm not afraid to door knock during COVID. I have my little blue mask on. I have my little sprays. I do everything politely by the CDC. The good news, everybody's home. See, when I used to go door knocking, only 2 out of 10 would answer the door. And now 6 out of 10 answer the door. So COVID made it easier to talk to people. And all I have to do is identify if you're moving in the next 5 years, then I get to be your buddy because COVID will end. Okay. You are in real estate and this is the market you're in. You need to find a way to make your goal. The outside determines what you have to do to make your goal, but you determine if you make your goal. See, when COVID hit, we changed everything. We did a lot more Facebook and Instagram and Twitter marketing, but that is a passive marketing and we need to be more active. So we learned the CDC guidelines to door knock and we door knock the crap. We have people out door knocking now because everyone's so glad you came to the door. Now, if they show up to the door with 2 masks on and they were in a Tyvek suit and they got the clear shield, I stay 6 feet back, no problem. But 9 out of 10 are like, what do you need? They're not wearing nothing. You want to come in?
Okay.
So you have to decide if you want to make your goal and then play in the market you're in to get it. Yes.
Do you use KV Core? Do you always use a CRM to manage your activities for the day? My last question is, what works for you, or what
You
works?
have to have a CRM if you want to be a professional. If you're only going to do 10 deals a year, you can get away with a notebook because you know all 10 of your people. If you're only going to do 10 deals a year, you can keep it very basic in a notebook. The problem is you can't grow. So you have to have a CRM, and KV Core is excellent because what it does is it keeps your past clients in sphere hearing about you. I'll give you an example, Minnie. I just ordered a brand new F-150 Platinum truck from my salesperson. I went online in Florida when I was down at our place in Fort Lauderdale, and I looked at a couple dealership. Now, I'm always going to buy this car from a guy in Virginia. I bought 16 cars from him. I like him a lot. But I went online to see cars. Well, instantly, Pompano Ford is starting to email me, text me, sending me chats. I'm getting Facebook things from Pompano Ford. I'm loyal to my guy in Virginia. But if I wasn't, I would have bought a car from Pompano Ford because they have been beating the crap out of me telling me about cars for sale. That's what CRMs do. Your past clients, your sphere that you put into your database, set up your CRM so it keeps them aware of you so you are no longer not an option. Just calling them 4 times a year, that's gone. You've got to be hitting them. They've got to see you. They've got to see what you're doing. was a great question.
Thank you.
You have
I'll
to have
remember to
something, guys.
ask.
I'm sorry?
My weakness was asking for the business. So that I'm working on changing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. Asking for business is hard, but if you have a 5-year plan and you want your goal to become a reality, it's what you do. Like I said, real estate is easy. It's just a lot of work.
It is. Thank you.
Melissa, give us 1 second. We'll call on you in just a second. There's something there's a reoccurring theme here that's been for everybody, and I really need to identify it one more time. If you don't have a goal, it's almost impossible to get to where you want to go. And with that goal, you can plan. In fact, the reverse planning makes great sense. What's your big goal? What's your 5 years? And how does it look like? I am here to tell you that you're going to have to do things you are uncomfortable with. And I also want to challenge you that some of you may, as you're going to be sending over to Steve, your 5-year plan, you may want to put in there to have somebody of his caliber or even him a couple of years down the road. That's my goal, is to have him be my personal coach, because you'll get there quicker. But more importantly, it shows the progress, and it's going to take work. It's not an easy journey. Mine was for sale by owners, and it was every single day. And I had to do the work, and I did the work, and I'm here because of that and because of the discipline. And you're going to need that as well. Like you said, it's not hard. It's just not, or no, sorry, it's not complicated. It's hard, and it is. But the success and the freedom is going to be astronomical. Don't lose sight of the fact that every one of you can do anything you put your mind to. I absolutely guarantee that. Yep. That being said, Miss Melissa, you have your hand up. The floor is yours, ma'am.
There we go.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Good. So I've been a realtor for about 3 years, and I'm starting to see that my business is slowing down. I just do call my clients. Like, I do probably between 7 to 10 deals a year the last 3 years, that I am starting to call my clients, and I'm like, hey, how's everything? You know, also, like, I wanted to know, when is the best time to door knock? You know, like, what is a good time? Because I want to start doing listing. I'm a buyer's agent.
Nice. You know, I get that question a lot. When's the best time to prospect? When's the best time to door knock? And I'm always reminded of this cartoon that was in the Gum, Bazooka Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's on his hands and knees under a street light. And Bazooka Joe says, what are you doing? And the guy looks up from under the street light and says, I'm looking for my car keys I lost down the street. Well, why are you looking here? And he looks up from under the street light and says, the light's better. See, Melissa, where do you live?
I live in Orlando and I live in Avalon Park, East Orlando.
Nice. Nice. So there are communities that are somewhat older, 55 and older. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I go door knock them in the morning. Those people get up at 4 a.m. They do their laundry at 5:30. They go out and get the newspaper at 6, and they start picking up the extra pine needles off their lawn at 6:30. I can door knock their ass at 8 o'clock and they're wide awake. And by 11, they're watching Matlock. So I'll door knock the older communities in the morning. But if I go to a community that's a condo, upscale, dual income, no kids, ain't nobody home, I got to door knock them at night or on weekends. So really it comes down to your expertise. And with 3 years, you have plenty. You look at different neighborhoods and say, when should people be home? And that's when I'm going to go there and do some experimenting. Yes. What I do know is everybody's home on Saturday. Everybody's home on Sunday. Everybody's home at night. And until the time changes, that's when I would do it. I go to work to make money, guys. My wife doesn't care how I make it. So I try to figure out when's the best time I can make money the fastest by meeting people. That's a great question. Elementary schools. I go into a lower price point around elementary schools. There's generally somebody home in the morning or in the afternoon because the kids get off at noon. So one of the parents had to be home. Again, just play with it.
That's a good idea. Afternoons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're muted, George.
There you go. Just saw that. It was brought up quite a bit. I really want to hear more about the buyer's agent, but I think we need to qualify this because there may be a misconception. When we say buyer's agent, folks, we're talking about somebody who works for a team who is handling only buyer leads, and that's all they do. And if that's what you're interested in, how does it work when you're on a team and you're working for it? Great, because I think a lot of us are asking the question saying, hey, I work with mainly buyers. And that's perhaps a different answer. And Steve, if we've got a lot of people that normally we do start off with the buyers, that's a normal trend.
Normal.
Go ahead.
So if you're a buyer's agent, you have to understand your job is to find a qualified buyer and sell them a house. I coach a wonderful team out of North Carolina, and she's in the XP, Marty Hampton. And one of her newer guys named Scott sent me his schedule on Sunday morning. And guys, I work all the time. Milton knows this. I mean, I do two things. I work or I play. I don't have any downtime. Either I'm working or I'm playing. Last night, I finished my coaching at 6 o'clock. At 6:01, I was on my jet ski and I went 20 miles down the lake to visit a friend. We had a couple of drinks, not too many. Then I came back on my jet ski and then I worked. So if you're a buyer's agent, your job is to set a qualified buyer appointment every day. To go through the leads you have, to prospect, to hold open houses, to meet buyers, to get them to work with you. Now, there's a lot of steps in this. I got to meet a buyer, then I got to get them qualified. And they have to be financially qualified to buy, meaning they can actually write a contract that will get accepted. Now, guys, I want to say this again. They need to be able to write a contract that can get accepted. Because so many of our buyers can write a contract that would have got accepted in 2015. But if you're working in Raleigh, North Carolina, and you've got a $300,000 buyer and they're FHA, they're not getting an offer accepted because there's 10 offers and nobody's taking an FHA offer. If you've got a buyer who is a teacher, and God bless them, and they have some teacher union EIEIO loan where the seller has to give 3% back and there has to be a home, you're never going to get that offer accepted. You have to find the buyers that can write a contract that will get accepted and are willing to do that. And that's why you have to find a new buyer every day. And then you have to take them out and sell them a house. So this gentleman named Scott, we role played, and the line is always the same. At the end of the showing, however you want to show a house, and guys, remember this, you have to assume that when you're showing a house, you're on camera. That seller's watching you and listening to you. And if you do a crappy job, if you put down their house and your buyer writes a contract on that house, that seller won't accept your offer. That seller go, that agent didn't like our carpeting in our bedroom. She said it almost made her sick. Screw her. We're taking another offer. Remember that, guys. You're there to get the house sold, means you're on a job interview for the seller to accept your buyer's offer. So dress the part, act the part. And so when you get done showing a house, whether they go, oh my God, I love it. And I'm telling you, when I see a husband and a wife both stroking the countertop in the kitchen, they both love that house. When they walk in the master bedroom and she grabs his hand, they love the house. When they go out to the backyard and go, oh my God, it's so beautiful. That's an easy one. But no matter what happens, George, when they get done looking at the house, we have to say to the buyer, this house is for sale. Would you like to buy it today? I've had people that I've walked in, it stunk like urine, dead bodies, flies everywhere. We're at the front door. This house is for sale. You want to buy it? Yeah, let's get out of here, write the contract. Don't assume that you know they don't want to buy it. The seller is expecting you to ask them to buy it, ask them to buy it. If they don't want to buy it, move on. If the buyer is taking forever, find a new buyer. So as a buyer agent, your job is to do activities. Perfect, Nikki. Your job is to have activities to find new buyers to replace the ones who aren't buying. And don't make the classical mistake, and George, you and I probably did it, where we worked with a buyer that wasn't that qualified. We spent too many weekends showing them houses. And then we had to stay with them to try to make up for our lost time. You know, that's like being in a bad marriage because it's got to get better. It don't. Cut them loose. Go find another. Every day, find a new buyer. Upgrade your life.
Don't you love that fear that everybody has? And it just makes you normal if this is you. It's like, I've got a buyer, I can't let go of them. Well, the time invested working with that buyer that you can't let go of, that has a very little chance of doing anything, invested in finding a new buyer, is going to produce massively better results.
George, I'll say this. I coached a wonderful guy in California. He did 18 deals last year. In the first 3 months, my coaching, but he's doing all the work. I don't take the credit. They do all the work. I just tell them what to do. I'm like a coach. Run faster. Look how fast he's running. You're doing a great job. He's doing the running. He had 18 deals in 3 months. And I said, okay, give me your schedule for this weekend. He said, I'm taking out this wonderful family, husband, wife, 6 kids. Interesting. How long have you been working with them? About 8 months. Why haven't they bought a house? They're real picky. How often do you show them houses? Pretty much every Sunday. Have they written a contract? Well, they wrote 2 or 3, but they never get them accepted. So why are you working with them? Because here's the key. I said to him, I want you to understand how this is. Your wife and kids are home Sunday afternoon and they want to see their dad. But you're saying, I'd rather not spend time with you. I want to go with this other family who's not going to buy a house every Sunday. Every Sunday, I'm going to spend 4 or 5 hours with somebody who doesn't want to buy a house because I'd rather be with them than be with you.
It's that fear of, I have to be doing something because that's what I'm supposed to be doing, as opposed to what should you be doing, and focusing your energies on that. Steve, hold on one second. We've got Letty here. Letty, do you, why don't you jump in, honey? We're getting close to the 9:45 witching hour. I am just digging that you're on the call, Steve. Thank you so much. Letty, all yours.
Thank you. Hi, Steve. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Well, I've been a real estate agent for almost 3 years now, and I feel like I prefer to be a listing agent than a buyer's agent.
Fair enough.
I usually get like probably 20, 22 deals a year, but I feel like I'm getting stuck in this market, if it makes sense.
I lost you, Letty. You went mute. Letty, you went mute. You feel like you're getting stuck, and then you swore at the driver in front of you. What?
Yeah, I'm a little stuck in this market, you know, because buyers, they just knock at my door basically, but listings is so hard to find them. I get once in a while, and I feel like, okay, the pressure of out there, listing agents are doing something right, obviously getting these listings, and what am I doing wrong? You know, so I don't know what would be like a good advice from you, like to get more listings in this market.
First of all, when you get a buyer that wants to buy a house today, work with them. I'm not really good at math, but if every day I get a buyer that wants to buy a house and I work 250 days a year, that's 250 buyers. And then when they go to sell, I get 250 sellers. The problem is that most buyers don't want to buy today. They want to work on it. You got to be with them for a while. But if you do get a buyer, Letty, that wants to buy a house, how much, how fast, how much will I make? How fast will I make it? Now let's go to sellers. The biggest mistake is you're not growing your sphere. I said earlier, add 1 person a day to your sphere. If you did this in the 3 years you're in real estate and you added 1 person a day, you would have 750 people in your sphere. And the average person moves every 7 years. I won't make you do the math, but it's a bunch of people. You're close to 100 people a year move, and you would have all the listings you need. Yes?
Yes.
The problem is that we get a database, guys, and rather than go and expand it, we feel obligated to call our database because we're not doing a great job with them. So why should I add somebody? Here's a hint. Do a good job with them. Go add new people. Because it's the new people that bring you new money. These people bring you old money. And if you ever go to a restaurant that's been in business for many, many years, if they don't get new customers, they go out of business because the old customers come in and they don't order new stuff and they don't order wine. They order 1 meal and they eat bread and they rent space and the bill is $24 and they tip 20%, but no more. It's the new people that want to try everything and they do appetizers and a bottle of wine and 2 dinners and dessert and their bill's 100 and you got 120. Then they go tell everybody about your new restaurant. So Letty, what I'm saying is you're not bringing enough people into your database to have turnover because you're not working new people. Work the old people, but you got to keep bringing in new. You got to keep bringing in new. That's the way it works.
I think you just hit the right spot because I've been relying on referrals and things like that, but no new business. Yeah, that's what I'm stuck. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Kimberly, I muted you by accident with a cough, and I may have cut you off. Did you have something you wanted to add? If so, please just jump right in. She coughed and the mute clicked immediately. All right, listen, I'm going to do this because for the greater good, because we've got, I'm 15 minutes into my schedule of what my calendar looks like. I'm going to share this real quick because I am that fanatical about a good calendar. This is my morning. It's very, very boring. The reason it's boring is I'm not planning it. It's already planned. I have things I have to do, and this was well worth going into it. I'm late for my 9:30 appointment with myself. My schedule is set on my goals, not 5 years, but I guarantee you, Steve, you're going to get an email from me with my 5-year goal real soon. I got 2 areas I'm focusing on, and mine has a catamaran in it. We lost him, our Australian, South American partner, African partner. I'm going to go buy it down in his neck of the woods.
Nice.
Folks, if you want more of this, come to the summit. Seriously, just for no other reason, come because it's for you, it's about you, and there's a lot more of this good stuff coming with Steve right there. You get to shake his hand, say hi. I cannot wait, Steve. I'm so looking forward to it. I'm going to let this run. I'm hopping off. Steve, God bless you, man. I'll follow up with you a little later on today. Thank you for everything. Folks, as long as he's willing to stay up until 10, we'll let him on. If you've got to go, Steve, you've given more than we deserved already.
I got 4 more minutes.
Outstanding. God bless you guys. Have an awesome day. Take advantage of this time.
Okay.
And Tiffany's here, but she's not here. So you guys keep going with the call.
Okay.
So Steve, I'm going to jump in, Steve. All right. What's our first catalyst for dreaming big? I really connected with that 5-year, but I'll be honest, I'm afraid to dream so big. So how do you unlock that in somebody to say, okay, start dreaming big. Let's go.
Well, first of all, you have to understand that most of your friends don't dream big. Okay. I have a wonderful father-in-law. He lives in New Hampshire. He's been in the same house since 1964. Okay. He's been retired for 26 years. I can't tell him what my dreams are. I can't tell my kids what my dreams are. Although they'll support me, they'll look at me with those, yeah, what do I get out of it, kids' eyes. I give my wife some of my dreams, but not all of them. And the reason is, although my wife loves me and supports me, or so she claims, she has all my money and she has 2 guns she carries with her at all times. So she scares the heck out of me. So I'm careful what I share with her. You have to find 1 or 2 people, maybe in this group, that have big dreams that you can talk with. Okay. I'm fortunate. I have 3 or 4 mentors in my life that have big lives. And until you find them, you just have to throw caution to the wind and go for it. Because Daryl, this is it. How old are you?
50 this year.
How many?
50.
Okay.
50.
The average male makes it to 78. One of the 2 of us will be dead before they're 78. Now, I know you're hoping it's me, and I'm kind of hoping it's you, but that's just a fact. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a 50% chance of only having 28 years left on the planet. Why would you go small? And don't listen to people that want you to go small.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not here to make them feel better by lowering your dreams. Nelson Mandela had a great speech and said, God didn't put you on this earth to play small. And I am going to misquote it, but the basic premise is you are here to be great. You are here to do great things. You're not here to play small so other people feel better. So Daryl, you want to send me your 5-year goal? I'll support you with it. I mean, this is such an easy business to have a big life. I coach people that are doing 3, 5, 8, 1,000 deals a year. Okay. And they work less than most of you. And all it is a desire and then a plan, a desire, then a plan. Daryl, are you familiar with the game of lacrosse?
Very vaguely.
I coached a bunch of 8th graders for lacrosse on a little tiny travel team. Then the parents met me and said, would you be one to coach them for the next 3 years? I said, okay, we'll have a meeting in 30 days. So all the parents met with me. And then I wrote, in 3 years, national champions. And they were like, well, we just wanted to have a travel team. No, we have to have a travel team with a goal. And my little team from Virginia played for a national championship. Now, we didn't win, We lost. The state of Florida beat us. State of Florida had 2,500 people try out. They selected their best 25 guys from the entire state of Florida. I had 17 guys from one little town. We were pretty happy. Everybody knew that we were coaching to get them to a national championship, which changed the practices along the way. Yes?
Yes. Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
there's the difference, guys.
Thank you.
Big goals. Applied pressure to the right points.
I don't know if I'm on or not.
Kelly, you're on.
Thank you. I usually have my photo up, but this is just a really, really rough morning right now.
It's all right. It's all right. I barely put my Halloween on myself.
Oh, I wish it was that easy. But anyway, the things that you had said really inspired me. I am 2 weeks into my license, and I'm really excited about it. I'm watching as I'm setting up the business going forward. And I think one of the biggest things, it's not the first time either, because I believe George said something too as well, is about dreaming big. And you're absolutely correct 100%. I mean, I'm at the bottom of the barrel of what anybody could ask for in life right now, but I am grateful that I'm a miracle walking. So I'm very, very grateful that I have a new life to create.
Good.
And I did that vision board like 4 years ago in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. I mean, all my kids were like, well, that's a great vision board, but how are you going to get there? How's it? I said, well, it's right there. I said, starting with this picture to this picture. And I'm looking at it. I hope I don't start crying. And I'm literally like right there.
Yep.
To be at the mark, to begin creating that life for that bread and breakfast to help others. And teaching and educating and self-sustaining and just a lot of other things. I mean, there's a reason behind it, but when they look at it, they're like, man, that's a big ass house. How are you going to, I said, I don't know, I want to work my ass off like I always have, but I just realized on that vision board, I'm like right there, and nobody is they're going to support you, but they're not going to understand it. They're not going to know what drives you, what your passion is, what it takes. And so I really, really thank you for giving me that encouragement this morning.
Well, you and everyone else, and I'll leave you with this because I've got to run. Guys, the reason it's lonely at the top is because so few people are willing to envision it and then work to get there. You don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to not have friends to get to the top. I have lots of friends. I call people. I get called all the time. But when somebody doesn't support me and my goals, I cut them out. My older brother and I haven't talked for 20 years, except my mom died, because 20 years ago, he told me what I wanted was stupid. And I said, why is it stupid? You'll never get there. You can't dream this big. And I said, okay, whatever. And every time I talked to him, he was kind of negative Nancy. And I realized I don't need him in my life. Just because he's an older brother, if he needs a kidney, I'll give him one. If he has a family issue, I'll go there. But I don't need him because he's not supporting me in what I want to do. And what I want to do is become the greatest real estate coach in the world. Because if I can help my clients become the greatest agents, we put a lot of these idiots out of business. These people who don't know what they're doing, the realtors who cost our community by not selling houses in a down market so the families get divorced and then the parents have to separate, by ripping off old ladies. And I know agents who buy the house from these old ladies and flip it. And these poor people move into a nursing home with no money. And the realtor made $100,000 it's just awful. My goal is to help put those people out through helping people like you get better at your job. And by you dreaming big, and we get people like Deborah and Daryl and Melanie to do 50 deals a year. Well, the average agent does 3. So we wipe out another 15, 16 agents. And 16 people are out of this profession. And 16 families in each community are better because they're not entitled to do our job. So guys, I thank you very much. Again, my website is steve@watsonpowers.com. If you have any questions, send it. My phone number is 757-719-4329. 757-719-4329. If I don't get back to you, I will. I got to get back to everybody. You guys are awesome. You guys are incredible. Hopefully I'll see you next Friday. The topic will be on a different subject, so it won't be the same topic. Thanks again for allowing me this opportunity. You guys have fun.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Steve.